Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Monday. And we are here on Monday. um, I started Dr. Bobby's Price 14. Well, okay. Originally, I started Dr. Bobby Price 28-day cleanse, and I went through 14 days. So now I'm starting the second half of my 14 days. So I'm drinking water, y'all, so no drinks for me. Today, we're going to be talking to Sean Bankhead. Yeah, if y'all don't know him by name, I'm sure you guys have seen his work. He just popped in here, so I'm going to let him come in and tell you guys about it. But this is going to be a really fun conversation today. There we go. Let's see, it's waiting.
Oh,
Bam.
hey, Derek.
Hey, Sean. How are you?
What's going on?
I am good. What you know? What? Thank you for taking some time out your busy schedule to be able to conversate with me. You know,
Look, anything for Derek. I had to. So,
before we get started, I want to tell you, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
I know it's a long way from our hair show dancing days.
Listen, I don't think people know. You know, being a part of your hair show set. I think was it Bronner Brothers?
It was Bronner Brothers. We did a couple of them.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that I did in Atlanta. I think Victor choreographed it, and so that was my introduction to the scene and the life. And I was like, oh, this is so yeah. All thanks to Derek being in your hair show. I had like a sun or something carved into my hair, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but.
Well, what have you been doing on your quarantine life?
Well, it's been going up and down. At first started, I was doing a lot of reading, and I just was like, okay, I'm gonna fill myself with some knowledge. And then these last couple of weeks, I've just been enjoying not doing a thing, eating and sleeping and resting. It's interesting because I've still been doing a lot of dancing and being active on social media with all these challenges and stuff. So, to be honest, I've been enjoying it because I've needed a break. So,
So you're mad. I'm not mad at it either. I said I was going to be upset about it, but what I've been saying to everybody is that, like, me and you, I see you because you come to my salon, get your hair cut. So I see you all the time, but me and you never have time to talk. So It's like you're either coming in from out of town, you're going out of town, or we just all in passing. So I get to talk to people that I've known and my friends, so we get to have conversation. So I enjoy that. Now, I will say I am mad at Sean, you guys, because for however long we know each other, which is like over 10 years, I've been asking Sean to teach me an 8 count, and he has not taught me an 8 count yet. I want to be able to go to the club and serve people, but they won't let me serve them. Like,
just one 8 count, right?
I just want one 8 count. See, I'm going to let them go first, and I go second, and I'll be like, boom. Sir.
Yeah, I'm with you when you're right. I got you on the 1 8 count.
I just want 8 count. Not too complicated, but just something to there you go. Just to hit them real quick.
Something real cute. Look, you want a part of this cool off challenge? Now that's
I'm gonna look it up first, and I'll text you and let you know if I want to be part of them.
Okay.
Now, Sean, when I was working, like I said, we worked on hair shows. Then when I was doing state production award shows, I would see you. First, you were dancing in them. The next thing, you was assistant choreographer in them. Then I was like, with Fatima. And I was like, one year I was like, well, where's Fatima? And you're like, so talk to me about that journey, just in that aspect of just being part of it, and then now you were running it.
Yeah, it still kind of blows my mind. Like you said, I started as a dancer, and I just was a super hungry dancer, and I had a lot of opportunities to work under the legends like Fatima in Jamaica, who were, in charge of the game, and they was, choreographing all the award shows, all the music videos. And so I started as their assistant, and then, at one point, I think I caught Fatima at her last, I'm ready to kind of sit down and just, you know, just let y'all take control. And so she kind of passed me the torch, which was a big blessing, because she really, you know, she allowed me to take over a lot of those accounts that she was in charge of, which taught me a lot about the game, taught me a lot about the industry, you know, and more so than just dance. You know, I used to watch how Fatima would network. I would watch how Fatima would dress. I would watch how she would walk and talk. And all those things were, you know, something that was really vital to my career, because it wasn't all just about dance. So it's been a crazy journey. I don't think people know that I started when I was like 16. So, you know, it's been over 10 years of me hustling and grinding and paying my dues and climbing the ranks, if you will. Yeah, I kind of feel like I blinked though. And all of a sudden I was like, wow, like, okay, you know.
But ain't it crazy how people just think you just came out of nowhere? They're like, well, where did he come from? You be like, wait.
Yeah, you know, I started really young. I was, you know, I did my first music video when I was like 16, 17. So, and I choreographed. So, you know, it's been a long journey, but it's been fulfilling for sure.
Now, did you feel when it was time for you to take over those accounts, did you feel like you were just thrown into it and you were figuring it out? Or do you think that you were prepared fully?
Yeah, no. It was fake it till you make it. That was something that I hate saying that term, but that was what it was. I had to fake it until I pretended like I belonged. You know, it's one of them things where, you know, when you don't got the wristband and you just got to walk backstage like you kind of know what you're doing, just so that nobody talks to you. You know, I learned along the way as I was going, and like I said, watching people like Jamaica and Fatima or Draco and just all these people, watching how they moved and how they operated and how they talked and how they stood. And, you know, that was kind of like, okay, well, if I kind of just like do what they do, you know, I'm confident on the choreography, I'm confident on the steps, then people might, you know, like the Jesse and everyone at BET and Soul Train Awards, and, you know, so yeah.
Now, how important is it? How important is because like you said, you knew the choreography part. And I think that people only look at choreographers, just like any of our art forms. They don't understand the business part behind it. They just think that, oh, we are just out there just dancing and doing stuff, but it's more to it than just dancing.
You right, you know, and I want to talk to you about something as well. I want to ask you something a little bit later, but that is the biggest part of being successful in the entertainment business. No matter if you're doing dance or you're acting or you're in hair and makeup or you're in production, like, your business mindset is what's going to keep you going and keep good relationships, because it's all about, you know, are you going to be on time? Do you know how to fill out a W-2? Do you work well with clients? Are you professional? Are you always cussing and showing up to set drunk and high? You know, so your professionalism is. I was actually live last night and I said, you know, I think it's 40% talent, 40%, you know, your work ethic, and there's another 20% of, you know, other things. But your talent is only going to get you so far if you don't have your business right.
Now, I appreciate and I love the loyalty that you have to your fellow dancers, because, you know, it's like the girls that I've seen you with, or the girls and guys I've seen you dance with, it's like that you see them over here, then you see them over there, then you see them over here. You know, you see Diddy everywhere. You know, so it's like, you know, so why is that so important to you to keep your crew around you as you grow?
Yeah, I mean, it's trust, it's family. Like, one, you can count on them, you know. Two, they are beasts. You know, I've been so lucky enough to find bad girls and guys who are just so talented, but I like to keep a family vibe around me. I like people that I can trust and I can be myself, goofy, or I just, you know, we know what's up. Like, once you start rehearsal, like, it's game time. You know what to expect. You know how I operate. You know how I like to run my rehearsals and how I like people to be on sets. So it's not a learning curve for people who's like, oh, I've never worked with this person. Like, I like keeping people that I know can do the job. And I also like, you know, back in the day when you had famous dancers, you know, you used to know Janet's dancers. You used to know, you know, Missy dancers or Madonna dancers, you know. So I always loved keeping them in the forefront to be celebrities because they are so talented. You know?
Now, this is like a little to the left question, but do you ever lose your voice? Because all the stuff that all the videos that you are yelling in every video.
Yeah, I always lose my. In fact, I feel like I did a good job if I lost my voice by the end of that shoot. Like,
okay,
you know, that's one thing. I give and I scream and let's go, come on, let's fuck it up. You know, I think the artists they feed off of that and they, you know, it pumps them up to do better. I'm a screamer. Yeah, if I'm not hoarse by the end, then I didn't do my job.
So I always say that I'm always jealous of actors and dancers because y'all are so free. Like y'all would just jump up on the table and move and dance. And y'all, it doesn't matter like where y'all at. So like for you, with all that energy and creativity, like where do you find all that from for you?
As a kid, I have done nothing but danced. I have been nothing but a creative and an artist. I was either drawing, painting, listening to music, playing music, or dancing. So I kind of just naturally was a free-spirited person. But I'm also really shy too. So it kind of, you know, if you get me out of character, if you know me, like, you know that I get wild, or if you see me out in the club and I had a couple, you know, I get wild. But yeah, I am pretty free and spontaneous, you know, and I think that allows you to be your best creative self, you know, because I don't have any restrictions. I don't, you know, if I have to choreograph for guys or girls or younger or older, you know, I just feel comfortable to just use my body, you know, in different ways.
So we're out of the. I mean, even though you were still doing it, but we're moving out of the award show stage. So now it's time for your first music video. Who was that?
So my first music video, there's one that I danced in and then there's one that I choreographed. But the first video I danced in was Tiffany Evans' Promise Ring, which seems to always come back around. I was a baby. I had no facial hair. And that was a big moment for me because I was still in high school, and you know, in high school I was still getting made fun of. I was still bullied. I was, you know, people didn't, oh, you want to be a dancer, and then all of a sudden I was on 106 Park, and you know, everybody
want to be your friend. Then
everybody wanted to be my friend, and saw. So that was a big moment for me, just to be like, oh, I can actually pursue this. I can actually do this. And then the first video I choreographed was Diddy's artist Sherry Dennis. I don't know. Dennis, Portrait of Love. So I did that video. And long story short, I was teaching at Dance for One Studios, which is legendary off of Moreland Avenue. And I wasn't supposed to be teaching class yet. I was still young. And one of the choreographers didn't show up. So my agents asked me, hey, last minute, can you just sub this class? And I was like, okay, here we go. Sub the class. And it just so happened to be that someone from Bad Boy came in and was like, oh, can you choreograph this music video? And just from there, just...
And it just went from there.
Went from there.
Now, so you did that. You was in the moment. You took the reign. You faked it. Like, I know what I'm doing. We about to do this. So you did that. So then, what was your next big break that you would say is your big break?
Well, to be honest, I think what makes my story a little bit differently is that I really utilized social media and YouTube really early. And so I always used to post my dance videos on YouTube before YouTube was really kind of popular. And a lot of my videos would go viral. And so it started to get my name out there, and I would edit all my videos, and I would always put my name, Sean Bankhead, at the top of every video. Like, every video just had my name. Just put my name on there. Put my name. I don't care if it sucked. Just put my name on there. And I think that was a big start for my career because people started to know who I was before I even was really doing a lot of stuff in the industry, which kind of was a double-edged sword because people in the industry was like, well, who's the kid on YouTube? Like, he hasn't really done anything yet. He hasn't paid his dues, but people keep talking about him. So I really had to kind of fight to get out of that shadow. But I did this video to Beyonce Run the World, and I launched, again, another long story short, I was supposed to give that choreography to Beyonce and Frank, and, they had all these choreographers in LA, and I just was like, I don't feel like fighting for my spot. So I flew back to Atlanta, I shot the video and it went viral. It hit like 2 million views in like 2 days, and people thought it was the actual video. So from there, I think people really started kind of stamping me as like a choreographer. And then from there, I just, you know, again, I kept working, and I did Beyonce Single Lady. I danced with Beyonce on Single Ladies for Tyra, and that was like the next, like, okay, okay, we see him, we see each other. Yeah, so.
Now, who in the? Cause I'm not really familiar with the dance world, but who was it when they recognized you? What choreographer that said, "Oh, you Sean Bankhead," that you was like, "Oh shit, you know me."
all of them. Jamaica was one that I always was a fan of, and she, you know, Jamaica was Sierra and Carrie Hilson. Akamon Jones was a huge role model of mine. If you go back and watch Aaliyah videos, the dark-skinned dude with the braids who was just smooth, he choreographed for Usher. He was another person who, you know, was like, oh, you know, I've seen you. And then Fatima was another, you know, person that I just couldn't believe that people knew who I was. And I knew myself. I hadn't proved myself yet to get that type of, but you know, it was YouTube that really kind of got my name out there. So a lot of the choreographers kind of had their eye on me, I think I would say.
Now, did you feel, like you said, you knew you had the dance part of it, but did you feel that you were, when you started getting recognized, was your confidence where your recognition was at, if I'm asking that correctly?
Yeah, no, not at all, because I didn't have the experience, and so I knew I was stepping into rooms that I knew nothing about. You know, I could shoot stuff in my bedroom and call my two best friends over, and we shoot stuff, and you know, people on YouTube who have no credit or credentials be like, "Oh, this is the best thing I've ever seen." You know, then you step into a room with legends like, you know, Fatima's and Jamal Sims and Don Draco's and Chuck Maldonado's, who have been doing it for years, and they know about formations, they know about working with artists, they know just so many different things that I just I never had that experience. So yeah, I definitely was not ready for any of that. And that's when the fake it till you make it stuff come in. Okay, let me just kind of watch and see, because what do you do when you got to work on a movie and you've never worked with an artist or an actor, and then all of a sudden you got to work with someone like Will Ferrell, you know, asking you to give him privates, and I'm just like, you're Will Ferrell. I don't, what, you know, so I had to get past that whole thing. Yeah.
Now, I knew you could do stuff, but I was very impressed with you when I saw you choreograph that whole thing for the Janet Jackson tribute. And it was just like, BMI. Yeah, for BMI. And I was like, wait a minute. All these, like, and then the fact, so how was that moment? Because it was Janet Jackson. So you really had to take what she did and reimagine it. Right. So how was that experience for you?
I think for me, that was like a top 10 moment for me, because for me, Janet was my idol. Like, the first concert I ever went to was Velvet Rope. So, and that changed my life forever. So, and I never had the chance to meet her. I never had the chance to work with her. I never had a chance to. I auditioned for her a couple times and did not make the cut, and that was okay. But so the BMI tribute was really important to me because, one, I was able to honor her, you know, and tribute her through dance, which is a big part of, you know, her career, her success, and then use a lot of Atlanta talent to show her, like, Atlanta has talent. We got swag, we got kids, we got adults who have something special and, you know, have stories to tell. So that was nerve-wracking. That was really nerve-wracking for me. And I had another Atlanta dancer, Sherrod, who was like he knew every Janet step. So me and him worked together to make sure that it was a tribute that she deserved, you know, because she deserves to feel that love and, like, wow, you know, look at these kids going through my history of dance. Yeah, so that was big for me.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm going in order, but let's talk. So now let's talk about the whole Normani sensation.
Yeah.
Did you know when you was doing this that this was gonna turn into that?
Yes and no. So I always knew Normani was a star. I worked with her when I worked with Fifth Harmony. So a lot of people, if you don't know, she was in the group Fifth Harmony, who was a big pop group, and they had huge success. But unfortunately, when you're in a girl group with 4 other members and there's 5 of y'all, you don't get to be your best self. You don't get to be as great as you can be. And me and Normani always connected because she had a dance background, but we just was like, when we get this chance, like, we gonna run. We gonna hit the ground running. And so the group, unfortunately, are on hiatus right now. And she called me up and she was like, it's time to go. And so, she put out a couple records prior to, but she didn't put out the big single yet. And so, she finally played me Motivation and she was like, what do you think about this? And I was like, okay, let's go. So she got Dave Myers, who's a legendary music video director, who basically we had, phone calls, and he was just like, I want to do a dance video. So it's all yours. And so I'm just like, oh God, like, what do you do? Where do you start? How do you even give Dave Myers a dance video that he hasn't done previously and still introduce a new, young, Black female artist who people are already going to be gunning for? They're already going to try to, tear her down. But she trusts me and I trust her. And so the hard part about doing Motivation was that she was on tour while we were rehearsing and filming this. So she would have to fly in from whatever city they were in to LA to learn the choreography. And then she would fly back, and she would fly back like 2 more days and learn more of the choreography while I was working with the dancers. But she's just so special. She's such a humble human being, and she has so many creative ideas, and she keeps me on my toes because she has a big dance background. Be like, they pirouette was wrong, or she need to point her toe, or no, that 8 count was wrong, or I like that dancer. So she was very involved in the process. Again, making up the steps, that's the easy part. That's the fun stuff. But coming up with creative ideas, when Dave's like, I want to do a basketball section, what can you do with a basketball? You're like, shit, well, Normani, throw it up, do 2 pirouettes, bounce it off your ass, and call it a day. And, so she, that was, so now, so again, the funny part was, after we shot the video, I was like, oh, this is going to be major. Like, this is going to be it. But Normani's Gemini ass, she's such a Gemini. She just was so meticulous on the edit and the color correction and what piece of choreography looked best, because it was her debut video, it's her like, I'm here. And we went through so many edits, you start to think like, damn, okay, maybe this kind of not as good as I thought, like we
you started doubting yourself.
Yeah, we started second guessing it because she, she's very critical. And so by the time we were about to release it, I was just like, oh, okay, I hope we didn't over edit it, or I hope we picked the right moments, or I hope she's happy with it, or I hope, XYZ. So it was nerve-wracking. But then once we released it and we saw, the feedback, it's very gratifying. It's very humbling too. You want people to like your work. So
I want to backtrack. So I want people to understand that how stuff works. So we're gonna go backwards. So it was Normani, but Normani was with Fifth Harmony, and you worked with Fifth Harmony. But then how did you get with Fifth Harmony?
Through Fatima. So another funny story, Fatima called me. So Fifth Harmony was formed on X Factor, and she got them off of X Factor, and she called me and she was like, I have this girl group I want you to assist me on. I was like, cool. So I flew to LA, and me and the girls connected really quickly. And I think she understood that I was younger and I could kind of, identify with their age range. Because, the team was grown. And she was like, these little 15, 16-year-old girls, Sean, But so we did a couple projects together, and I guess you could tell that I could handle them well. And I will never forget, one time we were in London performing at X Factor, and, the girls were being 16-year-old girls, 17-year-old girls, and she just was like, Sean, you got it. You got it. And she hopped on a flight that night and was like, they're yours. And she kind of passed them over to me. And so ever since then, I kind of, again, just was like, well, what the hell? Like, what am I going to do with 5 girls? And I don't know management. And that's another thing of the business. Management, it was hard because I didn't want them to take advantage of me because I wasn't Fatima, because I didn't have the name or the opportunity, because they hired Fatima. I was just the assistant. But, you know, that was another big learning thing. But through that, that's how I worked with all the girls in Fifth Harmony, and I was with them for like 3 years. I was up to until they broke up, and then me and kind of Normani kept going. So,
so but I want you to explain that, because people just saw you with Normani, and they're like, oh, well, how he get Normani? It's like, well, no, this relationship that started 4 years back.
Yep.
And this is just what kind of happened.
Exactly. We were 4 years in the hole already. So we already, and like I said, while we were in Fifth Harmony, we always kind of just kept our eye on each other, like, oh, when you get this opportunity, because she was such an incredible performer as well, that, you know, you have to split a song up with 5-piece harmonies, and girl, you know, like not everyone sing the lead. So you don't get the chance to get to the middle and do what you can do. And all of those girls had different levels of abilities, so you kind of have to mute yourself sometimes, or you kind of have to highlight some. It just was hard. It was a hard game to play, but once she got out of it, she was ready to do backflips and splits, as you can see. You know?
Yes.
So, yeah.
And so then when it came, how was she able? I mean, I guess you said she already had a dance background, but like when I would see you post her live performance, like, so she could do this every time, like she could hit this every time and do it.
Yeah, she Normani is an alien, because she had a dance background, meaning, and you know, she was on Dancing with the Stars, and she was incredible. She could tango, and she can salsa, and she can do ballroom, but she also did gymnastics when she was younger. So she always had that in her repertoire. She always had that in her, but she never had a chance to kind of show it. And so that, again, I was just like, let's pull that backflip out. Let's do a handstand into a split on the VMAs, because why not? You know, like, let's give them what they want. You know, let's give them what they need. So, and she's always like, you sure? And I'm like, girl, yes. Like, fuck them up. Like, let's go. You know? Let's do it. Like, let's not let anybody be able to breathe. You know, so yeah.
How was that phone call from Missy Elliott?
She still, it just does not make sense to me, because outside of Janet, Missy was my other, you know, icon. You know, Missy's music was what got me dancing when I was younger. It was Missy's music. That was when I was old enough to really understand music and music videos, and seeing Missy and hearing her music was what really inspired me to be a dancer. So when I got that call, I almost dropped the ball, and she was fighting for me because I was not ready for that job. And I remember I was just going through a lot of personal things in my life, and I just was like, I can't handle this right now. And Missy's on my phone, and she's so hands-on. Like, I talk to Missy almost every day still. Like, she, you know, she is very involved in her projects, but also the people that she works with. She cares. She checks on people. She, you know, she cares about her dancers. She takes care of her dancers. She goes above and beyond to, you know, make you feel comfortable. But on the other hand, when it comes to work, that lady don't play. That she does not play. She has worked me harder than anybody combined, but she has pushed me creatively too, to a place that I never in a million years thought that I could, you know, kind of open my brain up to.
I like that you were able to say that you wasn't ready, that you, I almost dropped the ball. I wasn't on my shit when she called. Like, you know, you able to acknowledge it.
Yeah, and again, leading up to that moment, I had been working with a whole bunch of new artists. So when you work with a legend and an OG and a GOAT in the game who's been there and done that, like, there's no half-stepping, there's no slipping, there's no any of that. And I was not ready. Like, I was not ready. I was not in that place. And she really mothered me. She really taught me a lot. She kicked my ass. She would cuss me out. She'd be like, you dropping the ball. But she believed in me too. And that was the reason why I'm grateful, because I did drop the ball a couple times. I wasn't as hands-on as I should have been, or I wasn't as involved or timely, or my business wasn't as together as it should have been. What she's expected and what she's been through. She already knows, like, you can't drop the ball, because I've been through this with a whole bunch of other choreographers. And I don't care what you've been through. Like, answer my call. Email me back when I need you to. Submit people when I need you to. So She got me together a lot. She still getting me together.
So to know when you're doing a music video for Missy Elliott, that goes into music video like royalty. Like that's just like, you know. So did you feel a lot of pressure to stand up to the Pat? Because basically you came, you were part of her re-emergence.
Yeah.
You know, when it was like our first visuals of Missy Elliott and her stuff was your stuff.
Yeah.
So did you feel a lot of pressure going into it for that?
Yeah, it was too much pressure. It was too much pressure because again, I was such a fan and I knew her whole entire collection of body of work. So the pressure to live up to that, the pressure to help reintroduce her, the pressure to keep it going. Yeah, it didn't make sense to me. I was like, why me, guy? You know, like why? Like I was too afraid to fuck it up and mess it up.
Mm-hmm. No, you can pass it.
I was too afraid to mess it up.
Right.
But getting in the room and choreographing, once I realized, and it took a couple music videos. The first one I did was the WTF video.
Mm-hmm.
I was working under her choreographer, Hi-Hat, and creative director. So Hi-Hat is legendary too. Mm-hmm. But I still had some crutches. I still had, you know, some room to kind of be like, okay, this is how it goes. But after WTF, when I did I'm Better, that was all me with the bouncing balls and the
mm-hmm.
And so it was really nerve-wracking because she really pushes you as a creative. And people don't know this, but Missy sits at every rehearsal, whatever time she's there from start to finish, and she watches. She has never missed one rehearsal. So a lot of times when you're creating for artists, you choreograph, you get your dancers together, and then the artist kind of comes in and watches and says, okay, I like that, or change that, and then it's done, you know. But to have her in the room while you're creating, it adds another layer of pressure because she's like, nah, I don't like that. You know, at the spot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, she'd be like, there was a couple times where she'd be like, just start over tomorrow, like cut all that stuff you made. And again, it was like, I've never been through that because I was working with new artists who wouldn't ever say that, you know.
Right.
Like, I love it, it's great, you know, that's cool. So
you'll be in there, you'll put together a piece like, this is fire. She'd be like, yeah, no.
Yeah, it's just like that. She'd be like, you wildin'. She'd be like, you bugging. You can do better. But those were the things that really pushed me as a creative. Like, damn, even when I felt like I couldn't do better, I ended up coming up with something different or something hot. And she would be like, yep, that's it. You found it, you know. And I always say this about Missy, but she is a choreographer in her own right because she knows what works. She knows what's hot. She loves hood, raw, gutter dancers. You know, she's not trying to find the cookie cutter LA dancer. She wants the people from the street, you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just she you know, so then choreographing everything together and having her watch it, you know, you feel a little bit more confident each time you do it.
Mm-hmm.
But to this day I still be like, oh Lord, I hope this ain't the one that sucked. You know, they gonna drag me.
Now it's time for you to do the MTV Awards.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a full-on production. Mm-hmm. So now, as far as a choreographer, what is your duty and something like that? So does it? I know it's wardrobe, I know it's hair, I know it's makeup, but then, so do y'all all collaborate together to figure this out, or like what is your role?
Yeah, you know, it usually starts with Missy calling my phone, and she'll be like, "All right, let's throw some ideas. Do I want to come down from the ceiling? Do I want to come up from water? Am I going to get flown in on a rocket ship?" I mean, just that alone, you're already like, "Oh God, how are we gonna pull this off?" Like, right. You know. So there's always a brainstorming idea that usually happens months in advance. She likes to be very well prepared. Like, she don't waste no time. And like I said, we usually talk daily about everything. So from there, myself and her creative director, Hi-Hat, usually come up with ideas and brainstorm how everything works. And then from there, you know, she starts being like, okay, send me some dancers. So I'll start sending her dancers who I think are dope. But the other thing about Missy, again, is she's very keen on who her dancers are. She's like, mm-hmm. You know, if I think they're dope and she thinks they're whack, you know, they out, you know. And so it's hard to find a full cast of dancers nowadays because people know how to TikTok, and that's really the extent of their dance ability. But when you're doing Missy stuff, it is old school, legendary, full out choreography that dancers just don't understand anymore. So from there, we kind of cast the dancers, and we get all the cast together, and then we kind of start rehearsals. And so from there, usually I'll do like a skeleton crew of what the show might look like or how it'll flow. She'll give me like music, she'll put the music together, and again, she'll be like, nope, I want footwork right here. Nope, I want the kids to come out right here. Nope, I want the girls to do this number. Nope, I want my seasoned dancers to this one. And so we're just, it always changes. It changes up until maybe like 2 days before the actual show. But we rehearsed, I think, for 3 weeks for that. I think it was about 3 weeks. Yeah, so 3 weeks leading up, we dance, and we dance hard, and we dance for 8 hours a day. And sometimes the hours are 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Yes, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So it's, it's overnight because she doesn't want her music to leak. And so we always have to go to the studio when the studio's empty. So it is a.
So I know. So when you're doing the Missy Elliott part, you be like, "Whoo!" Like we done.
Woo, we done. Woo, we done. We are done. Yeah, because it is mentally exhausting. It's physically exhausting, and she requires the best of the best. So, and then you have to collaborate with legendary like June Ambrose, who's styling, and you got to make sure that the quick changes make sense. You got to make sure that the dancers' costumes don't fall off. You got to make sure that just so many different elements. There's stunts that are being involved. You got to make sure that the people are rigged properly. You got to make sure that just there's so many different elements that come into a Missy production besides just making up the steps for me, as a choreographer. So yeah.
So I skipped over something for you that I want to talk to you about. The choreography in television and film. Now, how is that process? Because I know, it's a little bit different because y'all have a chance to mess up. Y'all have a chance to redo. You had a chance to fix it. So how was that process for you, being doing Star, and I'm sure you've done many other things, but how was that process for you?
I love TV and film. I do, because it allows you to be creative differently every episode. So the thing about working with TV and film is you have to carry the script. So whatever the script is saying is what you have to deliver. So if the script is saying, then the characters walk into a burlesque club, you already got to get your brain into burlesque mode. If the characters walk into, a drag show, you got to get your head into drag show mode, So I really love the challenge of having to do what the script says. But what people really don't know, I think, for TV and film is you have way less time to prepare for it and rehearse. So, these actors are learning full choreographed moments the day before they have to shoot it for film. So it's like the complete opposite of, live shows where you rehearse for a month and you do it once. This time, you rehearse once the day before,
over and over
again. Yeah. So, but I loved working on Star. I really did. I enjoyed it. I'm so sad that it's off the air now, but Lee gave me such an amazing opportunity, and he really let me just kind of spread my wings and fly. He's like, how many dancers do you want? And I'd be like, 20. He'd be like, you want 30? I'm like, yeah. He'd be like, great, you get 30. So it was a great opportunity to put my dancers on and get them residual checks. If you guys know what residuals are, So,
I like a residual check.
After I started seeing the residuals, I was like, I should have put myself in some of these episodes. Dude, y'all making more than me.
Wait, so now how does it feel, Sean, that you are now a go-to choreographer? How does that make you feel? Are you still? Is it still unreal to you? How does that feel?
Yeah, it's still unreal. It really doesn't make sense. It really is a blessing. I'm so grateful to even still be going, because a lot of people don't make it past 10 years. So I still gag every time somebody calls me saying they want to work with me. I still, I've always tried to stay humble, because sometimes if you get too heady, you miss it. So I'm glad, again, during this quarantine time that I've had time to kind of just sit and reflect and just take a deep breath and just kind of relax and just kind of be like, wow, you know, wow. Because I go so hard, I go so fast that I don't really take those times to, you know, I don't know.
Somebody popped a question in. They said they want to know, what was the hardest routine you had to choreograph?
Ooh. Ooh. Oh, you know what? Okay, I'll name maybe 2 or 3.
Go ahead.
One of them was when we did the season premiere of Star, when we did the Bob Fosse tribute. Now that was challenging. Bob Fosse was a legendary choreographer in like the 60s, but his style and flavor was so iconic and unique, and it took a lot of technique. And so again, Lee Daniels is like, I want to tribute Bob Fosse for this episode. So I wanted to look just like Bob Fosse. Go. You know, and so I really had to do my research and really try to make that tribute, you know, be worthy of his legacy. So the Bob Fosse number we did, the song was called I Ain't Thinking About You. That one was really challenging, and to see the outcome of that with the production value that it had, I was really happy with that one. Anything Missy is just, it's hard. Like anything Missy is hard because, like I said, she pushes you creatively. Like you can't just like be like, oh, I like this. Is fine. She be like, boy, you could do better than that. So anytime I have to work with Missy, it's usually the hardest thing. Yeah. So
now who is it? Who out there do you want to work with?
Ooh.
Oh, and wait, before we answer that question, the last video you just did, I don't keep up on music, but I watch it. I keep up on your Instagram, and I know what you do. But the Sam.
Sam Smith. Yeah.
Yes, amazing.
Thank you.
And like I didn't know what to expect, but I wasn't expecting any of that stuff.
Them boys was dancing in them 6-inch stiletto heels on a wrestling mat. Yeah, like that. And again, that was and just talking about like being a Black male creative, getting opportunities to work with somebody in the pop world like that still blows my mind, because unfortunately you still encounter, you know, racism or you know, people trying to think that, oh, well, you know, I don't know if this nigga, you know, stuff like that type things. And I've been through it all. But to get that opportunity to work with Sam Smith, who was so amazing, such a sweetheart, loved every moment of it. It was really cool. It was really cool.
So everybody popping names up here, but so who would you want? Who is that you can work with? That means you want to work with.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I have worked with Beyonce. I see Beyonce's name. I would obviously love to do more. I want to work with more male artists. I'll just put that out there. I want to work with more male artists. Even some up and comings, I wouldn't mind artists developing and forming into. I haven't worked with Chris Brown. I would love to work with Chris Brown, even if I just dance. I think that would be dope. Who else?
I know that when you say that you would like to dance. I like that. So do you find it not necessary? Well, necessary for your craft to still perform? Because I see that you performing. I see you performing in some of your things. So, like, do you find it necessary to perform? Because I know a lot of choreographers that don't. They're like, "Child, I'm just gonna do it. Y'all can go do it." But for
I
you,
would rather not. I'm shy. I like being behind the scenes. I really do. But again, people like Missy, she was like, get your ass on that. Get your ass in formation. Get your ass in the video. I want you to be in my video. So she recently has brought me back out to dance more, which is hard too, because to choreograph it and dance, my brain, like when I'm on stage or when I'm in videos, I'm always thinking like a choreographer instead of just being present in the moment, like just eat it. Like I'm always like, you too far over, or nah, you messing up that 8 count, or did the artist hit their spot, you know? So that's a challenge. I don't care to always be in my pieces. No. I'd rather not. Let me just do the choreography.
So for these younger choreographers, what advice would you give them? Because like you said, these TikTok dancers is not really getting the full out situation. So what advice would you give a young choreographer that want to get to the level that you're at? Or even work with you?
Yeah, there's a couple things. One, do your research. You would be surprised at how you will grow as a creator by knowing what people have done before you. And younger generations their eyes are so glued to Instagram that they have no clue the legendary people who are 10 times better than the people on Instagram right now and how talented they were. So go back and do your research. Go on YouTube and find those music videos and understand who people are like Tina Landon and Fatima's and Rich and Tones and just so many incredible choreographers. Even, like just do your research. The second thing, network. Promote yourself. Again, like I was saying earlier, if it wasn't for me putting all my work on YouTube and putting my name on there so that you could not know it rings in your head. Sean Bankhead. Networking and promoting yourself is a Paula Abdul. Yeah, just knowing all these people. The other thing is find your own style. Do not try to be like somebody else because there already is that person. So if you have your own style, it's easier to recognize your style. It's easier to hire you because we want your style. We don't want the knockoff version of Sean. We don't want that. If we want a Sean, we'll just call Sean. So make sure that you can find your own style and be true to yourself. It's okay to get inspiration. It's okay to be inspired, but just make sure that you have your own signature style. And the last thing is just be a good person. You'll be surprised
how far that gets you.
Yeah, you'll be so surprised how far just being a good person is besides even your talent. Like there's some people who are so blessed in this world but might not be the best dancer just because they got a good heart, they got a good spirit, they're genuine, and that attracts good energy, So I think besides all the steps, there's a lot of things to do your research, be business minded, stay on top of your reels and your resumes. If your agent is asking you for your reel, don't take 2 months to send it to them, and just be a good person. So
then one last question for you. What you said, what is your dance aesthetic? Like what would you say that is?
That's a good question.
I ask good questions, Sean. I'm a great interviewer.
You are. This is actually really good. I don't know. I think I just am Sean Bankhead. I got Atlanta in me. I have church in me, so I'm very soulful with my music, with my movement. I love R&B, groovy, slow stuff. I was never technically trained, so I can't really point my toes and do splits. Like I wasn't really like that. I'm more so about connecting to music. I was a musician actually before I was a dancer, so music was really important to me. I played the saxophone and I played the drums, so I understand music in a different way that allows me to kind of move my body in different ways. I like hood shit. I like being ratchet. It's a combination of, and then just working with so many legends and just taking little pieces has kind of made, I don't know, my style. I don't know.
So you're using a collaboration of everything.
Yeah, it is definitely. I learned how to dance in the club. I learned how to dance on the street. I didn't learn how to dance in dance class. So it's all about feeling and just connecting with music rather than learning steps. I learned that later.
Sean, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to me.
I wanted to ask you something too.
Oh no, what's up? What you want to ask me?
So it's about that time for me to kind of start opening some businesses and pursuing business endeavors because I'm getting older and my knees hurt. What some tips or advice, because you've had your salon and your salons for forever too, and I've been getting my hair cut. What's a couple lessons, steps? What?
Child. So well, what I learned about a business, is that once you figure out what you want from a business, you have to stay true to what your goal is. Because what happens is that when you start doing like we all want to make money for business. Like for my salon example, I knew what the vision of my salon was, and when I started to let money determine my decisions that I want to make for my salon, then my salon started going left. So I had to bring it back in. Was like, okay, this is what I want to do. So I think that you got to just figure out what you want to do, know why you want to do it. I do know you got something that you might be thinking about.
I do, yeah. There's a couple, facilities that I want to open, not necessarily like dance studios, but like real professional rehearsal halls that Atlanta doesn't have.
Oh, yeah.
It has,
Okay, so yeah, so that, for example, find it, stick. You have to stick to what your brand is. You have to stick to what your vision and your goal is for your space. Right. Do not let nobody take you off that thing. That's the biggest lesson that I learned in business is that, and then once you do it, I mean, you're rich now, so you can afford it. So what?
I'm still a dancer.
But you got to be, once you open up a business, you got to be able to make sure. When I put up my first salon, I knew I was luckily I was partnered with somebody. Well, she had the store in the front, remember, and I had my salon in the back. And so I told her, listen, I can afford $2,000 a month. That's all I can afford. So if you can't rock with $2,000, I can't afford you. But I knew I could pay $2,000 out of my pocket whether I had somebody in there or not. So when you go into your business, don't think so big that you can't afford it if you don't got nobody coming in. See, I see Tahira Joy on here. She talking about relationships are key, strategic, and strategic partnership, which I talked to Tahira about before. Tomorrow I'm gonna have on here Kimberly Blackwell, so she'll pop on here too because she knows about all this stuff. But I just know that for me, the personal relationship is really big. Leveraging your relationships. As Black people, we don't call on the people to help us. We want to act like we do everything on our own. Right. I'm not gonna ask them to help me. That's like, yeah. And it's not. And you know what the thing is? It's like, hell, that's. You owe me that. Hell, I've been loyal to you and been dealing with you. You owe me to be able to help me with our business. So you have a lot of people in your pocket. You have a lot of things in your pocket that when it's time for you to open up your business, use them.
Right.
You can't do it all on your own.
That's real. That's real.
You can't. You got to. You have to leverage all of your things. But I'm gonna call you so we can really talk about that because I know you got it.
Please do. I that was very helpful already.
I'll talk to you about that. And also, my sister wanted to let me know that that she needs another Bankhead sweatshirt. She said she DM'd you, and you ain't email her, you ain't DM her back. So you need to get on it.
I got the new sweats coming. I swear, once we get out this quarantine thing, I was supposed to then have my summer wave out, but this done messed everything up. So I got you too, Derek. I appreciate you. This is great. I appreciate you. Yes.
So thank you, Sean. I'll talk to you later. Okay, man.
Tell Booney I'm about to hit him up too. No,
bye.
All right, Derek. Bye.
You know what? I love talking to great people, and Sean is one of those great people. Yeah, I'm excited about that. So tomorrow is Kim Blackwell. Now, if y'all don't know who Kim Blackwell is, Google her, get on there. And so when y'all get on here tomorrow, y'all be ready. Have some questions ready because she is a business beast. So I'll see you guys tomorrow with Kim Blackwell. So talk to y'all later.